All right. Yellow is me, Klee. I was sick. I started this new year being really quite ill. I live streamed on January 2nd to, start off the new year all perfectly. And after that stream ended, I didn't feel too great. And then after that, yeah, I got really sick. So I'm finally sort of completely back to normal, and I thought it would be fun to do something different besides gaming. I like doing the games, but also I like doing historical stuff. So I came across a couple articles about um, a fossil that was discovered a while ago, and this fossil has now been researched thoroughly, way better than back when they had just discovered it. And this fossil may change our understanding of the human evolutionary timeline. Because Lucy, the famous Australopithecine Lucy, Australopithecus afarensis, we always thought that that species was one of our direct ancestors. But it might actually be the case that this, well, they call it Littlefoot because they don't really have a name for it at this point in time, as far as I'm aware. But this one might be a new ancestor of us humans. And I'm also, while I was sick, I started two scripts. One on cannibalism with Neanderthals in a cave in Belgium. Because, hello, it's Neanderthals and cannibalism and babies. Of course I'm going to cover that. And another video on the common ancestor, the last common ancestor between Neanderthals, Denisovans, and Homo sapiens, our species, might have been discovered in Morocco quite recently. So, those are two videos that I'm working on for the channel. Not sure when they will be up, but for right now, we are going to look into this, fun stuff. I have two articles open on this Littlefoot stuff. I'm not sure if it was Diademata that they're gonna call it, but it's weird. It's weird. So the Littlefoot fossil new human ancestor. So we're just gonna, I'm also going to show you a little bit more of how I do my research. That might be very helpful to you guys. So we have a black screen. It's going so well. But no, I can only do set up the window capture once I've already set it up. And I hadn't done any of it. I had a really busy day today. And so this morning I had to get my blood drawn because next week I have to go to the rheumatologist, which is fun. No, it's not. Then I had my nails done. They look freaking awesome. I feel like a green forest fairy witch. Look at me, I'm dope. And after that, it was quick eating, do something in the house like chores, then go to the gym, because, go to the gym. And after the gym, we just came home. I quickly fed myself, and now I'm here. So I had no time to prepare or set anything up. So if this stream is going to be one of my more all over the fucking place ones, then yes, this is going to be like that. Also, I just already clicked away my TikTok stuff. Okay, TikTok's back. TikTok chat, if you're in TikTok and you're watching, say hello. I'm drinking a cider. I just went to the gym. I deserve this. Okay? I think we can all agree. I've been really, really ill, and I deserve nice nails and a nice drink and just do something fun. And I hate that AI overview in Google. I need to figure out how to turn that off. Seriously. Okay. Let's get into this. I'm excited. Oh, wait. on TikTok, it's not looking too well. Let me fix the screen for the TikTok viewers. I'm so sorry, guys. That was messy. We don't do messy in here. Nope. Okay, on TikTok, they don't like the fact that I had a cider in my hand. And it's been, my TikTok live has now been flagged for drinking a cider. So, how dare I? Now everyone must be 18 years or older. Awesome. Whatever. Oh yeah, and Erik von Däniken passed away over the weekend. I never read his books. Sorry, don't come for me. Honestly, I kind of try to do everything and not be too... his stuff wasn't for me. Let's keep it at that. I wasn't interested in his stuff. I respect the man for, writing all the books and all the things that he did. Can't say more than that. So, sorry. Don't come for me. Hey, it's Charlie Vest. Welcome back. Welcome back. Oh, yeah. Göbekli Tepe with Luke. It was so fun to do that video. I love Göbekli Tepe. It's, come on. I will always have these with me. These are amazing. Amazing. Love them. Someone asked me, where do you get them? You actually have to travel to Turkey and buy them either at a museum or buy them from Ramazan, our tour guide. So, sorry. All right, so we want to talk about this legendary Littlefoot fossil. And I'm going to take you a little bit on a journey on how I do my research for my videos. And it may help you try to conduct your own research in the future if you have a subject that you want to cover or whatever. So normally, so my screen is currently set up, the internet page is set up in the format that I would use. I have a very ultra wide screen. So my internet page is 1080p size on my screen. And then I have a small section next to it. Currently that's open for the TikTok live chat and the YouTube live chat and my Streamlabs so that I can see that everything's working, which is nice. But normally I will have my Word document there so that I can type my research into a script. So I'm not typing because, we all like my clickety-clackety. I love my clickety-clackety keyboard. It's not fun for everyone who's watching a live stream, so I'm trying to type as least as possible, okay? You can keep telling me to, let's talk about Palestinian history. I talk about Stone Age history. And in this video, we are going to talk about a couple million years old human evolution history. So, sorry. Okay? This is not the subject for that. I don't do more recent history, and I also I prefer doing all this super million years old stuff. It's better for me mentally, easier to deal with, So let's see. We're just gonna open a couple pages, making sure that everything's correct. Okay. IFL. I fucking love science. I love that. Absolutely love that page. They usually have really good written articles, and they the Stoned Age. No, I'm sober as fudge. Let's keep it that way. I haven't smoked in years. I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon. Let's see. Just like I said, I'm just gonna open up some pages and a Wikipedia, because you know what? Usually, Wikipedia is very, very handy. No, I saw your comments, Sahil. No, it's fine. It's fine. No, don't worry. Everything's fine. Okay, I don't want to start with a Wikipedia, and I don't want to start with a Jerusalem Post. the bad thing about Jerusalem Post is that their articles at times are really, really good, like really well written. But I don't necessarily like to use it, if you know what I mean, like with everything going on in the world at the moment. Wikipedia, nothing wrong with Wikipedia for like the simple basics. Wikipedia is usually the point where I start when I do my research. I grab a Wikipedia page if it exists, and I just, quickly go through it. I see a date, I see a name. That's usually what I do. Like, I go through it, like, oh, characteristics, classification, dating, how Littlefoot lived, and then I look at it and it's like, oh, that's super freaking basic, and then I close it. But for like research and the way I script my videos, it's handy in a way. But yeah, let's start with I fudgin' love science, because I fudgin' love science. They found weed in caves all over the planet. Oh yeah, sure. They found weed everywhere. I mean, who hasn't smoked a blunt at this point? Wasn't there a gyroscope or supercomputer object from the Stone Age? I think you mean the Antikythera mechanism. See, I'm typing and it's clickety-clackety. Okay, well, I misspelled it. It's fine. It's not something I type in every single day. So yeah, that's the Antikythera mechanism. Some people say it's a supercomputer. I don't really see it. But, who am I to judge? I think we need more research into it fully to be able to fully understand what the fudge it is. But yeah, I think you meant that one. Yeah, okay, good. Same page. Okay, so we start with I fudge and love science. So we have an unidentified human relative, Littlefoot, one of the most complete early hominin fossils, maybe new species. So this seems to be the skeleton, like the skull. Astronomical calculator, no mystery. Oh, look, nice. Thank you, Henrik. Thank you. Look at Henrik being all awesome in the chat. That's why he's my moderator. Okay. So, if you're not too familiar with human evolutionary timeline, I will bring it up on screen. So I will we will lose for a moment the chat with TikTok. I'll grab you back in a bit. No, I don't want a Chrome or... I want a window capture, but one that's not messing... I want to show a photo or like a picture. That's not what I want, not what I want. Okay, so that's... I don't understand why it's not showing. Hey, Barry, good to see you. Oh yeah, it definitely got deformed over time. Okay, let's go into the game capture and see if we can fix it from here. Because this is not working. I want to capture a specific window. Yes, okay. Do it through a game capture. Wait, what? Why did you not work? Yeah, just capture the... Nope. Not what I wanted again. Oh, this is getting annoying. Specific window, and I wanted you to capture this photo. Why don't you want to do that? Okay, that's annoying. Because I'm not sure if I can find this online to show. This is not going well. Like I said, this is not going well. Like, this is gonna be one of the fuckiest streams I've ever done, probably. Why is it not showing the... Thank you! Okay, but now it's still black. Oh, it's an... Oh, okay, wait, it's a PNG. Let me fix that real quick. I'll bring you back to the, here, to that one. Yeah, we need to fix this. Sorry, guys, that's my fault. So, let me fix that. We want a new Photoshop thingamajiggy, clipboard, a paste, and then save a copy as JPEG, as a JPEGO. Yeah, this is the way I do my stuff. I like Geppetto, but JPEGO is better. You know what I mean? Like last week we had Voldemort. Voldy was awesome. If you missed, or like 2 weeks ago by now, sorry. If you missed Voldy, too bad for you, because you missed some awesome Saw stuff. Alright, so let's see if we can now capture... No. Oh, wait. It's a JPEG. Why am I... Guys? It's not showing a picture. It's not showing anything. It's doing black screen bullshit. I don't know why. Let me see if I can... Well, I might be able to like show it in Photoshop then. I just don't like people seeing the stuff I do in Photoshop. Let's be honest. That stuff is very personal. Okay. Window capture back to where it belongs. And let's do... Do we see Photoshop? We don't even see Photoshop. This is not going well. This might be too fudged. Okay. Doesn't matter. I will figure it out. In a way, shape, or form. It's fine. Alright. Perfect. I think this fixed it. Maybe? Maybe not? Okay, yes. So, we have that. Y'all. This took like, what? 5 hours? Holy hell. Yeah. We might want to see if we can do, no. Okay. It's fudged. It's fine. It's fine. It's, it is what it is. It's not my best work, but, yeah. I'm in, like, part of the screen here, so scusi for that. But it's gonna be fine. We'll zoom in just a tad. So this is the human evolutionary timeline as we currently know it at this point in time. Alright, so I need a drink, man. Woo. Okay. Woo. So what you see on screen here is you see Hominoidae on the bottom. And Hominoidae is the species that led to a lot. So that led to the gibbons. Like the Hylobatidae, the gibbons. And eventually that led to the Hominidae. Awesome. And the Hominidae went all the way to the gorilla, the pongos, so the orangutans, all that fun stuff. If you look here, that's about 16 million years ago that split occurred. Then we go up a little bit more, and you see homininae with Dryopithecini, Australopithecus, Australopithecus, and these are species that I have covered in my European Miocene apes videos. So, yeah. Yeah, I understand that it's taking far too long to get to the subject, but the subject is a couple million years of evolution that I'm trying to, like, quickly explain, and it took me way too long to get this picture working. My apologies. I ain't a professional live streamer. I do this once a week, and it's not been too long, so sorry. Scusi. If you can do it better, please do. Absolutely, please do. So, like I said, Dryopithecine, Australopithecus, Australopithecus, these lived during the Miocene in Europe. These are great apes from the European Miocene. Some of them probably also lived in Africa, but yeah. And then we are going into the Gorillini. So they split off from the lineage around 8 million years ago. So the gorillas split off 8 million years ago. Fun. And then we go into the hominini. And the hominini, these are the hominins for the very first time. So that's the chimps and us and our ancestors. This is what's important. This is where usually the split happened, and also this is where we can see Ororantuganensis and Sahelanthropus chadensis, and these are possibly related to us, possibly not. This is not, here you have a 1 + 1 = 2 equation. This is human evolution, millions of years of evolution, and we have a very, very incomplete fossil record because not everything that dies fossilizes. If I die tomorrow, the chances of my body becoming a fossil, I mean, I would love to, but honestly, slim to none, because the conditions have to be perfect. And then again, I'll be put in a pod and a tree will grow from my body. So, I mean, I don't think I will be fossilized anytime soon. It's fine. But the Littlefoot, like this fossil that they have called Littlefoot, it's about 4-ish million years old. It's here with the Australopithecus. So I can't speak. The Australopithecina, you have the Australopithecus, Paranthropus, and in these you have their species. And this all occurred around somewhere between like 3.5 to up until like 5-6 million years ago. It's been a while. So this is a lot of evolutionary possibilities, a lot of. So this is more like a tree, and it all has these ending branches. It used to be more like a river that's meandering. A species splits off, and then there's a possibility that they come back into our lineage and then split off again. But that coming back into it may have resulted in some change in our evolution that made our species eventually adapt better, or our metabolism go faster, or things like that. So the idea of a species splitting off and just that's a fork in the road, it's not necessarily how it went back in ancient times, like millions of years ago. It's probably more so that a species split off, lived side by side, came back together, and then probably split off again and then went extinct. Okay. So got that out of the way. It's all about the Australopithecines. The Australopithecina, the Australopithecus afarensis, Garhi, Sediba, Africanus, Dairimeda. Those. This is a side of talking. Oh yeah. I'm only like this much in. If I would be able to feel that, something's wrong with me. And I'm fine. So, yeah. Okay. So we have this article, and we've got a lot of these articles, and it says, like, another twist has been added to the puzzling mix that is early human ancestry, with evidence that one of the most complete pre-human fossil skeletons we have found doesn't belong to any recognized species. So that's what I've said about sometimes scientists are really quick to name things, and sometimes they're a little bit too slow to name things. It's either one or the other. Unfortunately. In this case, I think it's time to give it a name, because nicknaming it Littlefoot and then just leaving it at that doesn't really help when the media is trying to give information about it. It's not really doing anything for us. So the team who made the discovery say they don't know where STW573, nicknamed Littlefoot, fits from an evolutionary perspective, but at least with a specimen this intact, we have plenty of opportunity to learn more. Like I said, I really like the way their articles are written here by IFL Science. I fudging love science. No, this is not Lucy. This is possibly a new species that we haven't named at this point. Like, it was unknown, and then the species fossil was found. And it seems to not be a part of Diademata. It seems to not be a part of Africanus, Afarensis. And Lucy, I think, was an Afarensis. Let me check that. A Lucy Australopithecus. I think it was, yes, Afarensis. Score! Nice. My brain is still kind of somewhat functional. It's fine. All right. So to understand the newly published claims, we are here in the article, it's important to know a little about the confusing hominins that roamed southern Africa more than 2 million years ago. Like I said, it's a lot. The best known species from this era and time is Australopithecus africanus, although whether they are ancestral to modern humans remains debated. Because, yeah, everything here is debated. Everyone has their own opinion and their own perspectives. And, like I said, the fossil record is super freaking incomplete. So I can't tell you it's this with certainty because no one actually knows. All we do know is what we have discovered up until this point in time. And I hate that, because I want more information. Get to work, people. Get to work. In 1948, fossils found at Makapansgat in South Africa were described as a new species, Australopithecus prometheus, because they were thought to have used fire. Today, Dr. Jesse Martin of La Trobe University told IFL Science, most paleoanthropologists consider this to be an error. The fossils identified as Australopithecus prometheus are so similar to Australopithecus africanus that the dominant view holds the two could... Wow. That's not a great sentence. IFL Science, I'm used to better writing. I'm annoyed. But at least the two could have easily interbred and belonged to one species, but some cling to Australopithecus prometheus's unique identity. In 1998, a spectacular find was made in Sterkfontein, South Africa, which has proven to be one of the most complete specimens ever found from an extinct hominin. Extraction of such an extensive skeleton from solid rock was slow. When Ronald Clark examined the Littlefoot skeleton in 2019, he noted similarities to the original Makapansgat fossils and reported this fossil wonder as belonging to Australopithecus prometheus. So it's possibly Australopithecus prometheus. Martin told IFL Science most of the paleontological community concluded this just meant Australopithecus africanus, since they considered the two to be interchangeable. Martin and his students thought the same until they started examining part of Littlefoot's skull that matches the fragment on which the original description of Australopithecus prometheus was made back in 1984. Okay. Zimmer, the fact that you don't understand evolution doesn't mean that you have to pretend everyone else is wrong. The science speaks for itself. And you don't believe that we come from apes. It's not like we come from apes. It's not like we come from chimpanzees. No, the chimpanzees and us share a last common ancestor, and we both went our own evolutionary ways. The chimps, we completely different species, cannot interbreed whatsoever. But if you go back far enough down the line in all the fossil records and all the stuff that we have found, you can clearly see that we have the same shared ancestor. If you can't handle that, enjoy your Bible. This is not the place for you, and that's fine. This is not the place for everyone. If you can't handle science, don't come into my chat. Simple as that. I'm going to be very direct here. If you believe in God and you read the Bible and you're still open-minded to science, you're more than welcome to have a discussion here and listen to what scientists have discovered and uncovered and what they're researching and trying to understand more about everything that happened on this planet. Seriously, you're more than welcome here. But holy hell, I have no... I got better things to do with my time than discuss this with you. All right? So, hey, Bumpy. Sorry, I just saw one of my moderators that I haven't seen for a while, and I missed him. Bumpy. Okay. So, they started examining part of Littlefoot's skull, and that matches the fragment on which the original description of Australopithecus prometheus was made back in 1948. The team found 3 major differences just in this one area of the back of the skull. When it comes to the skull shape, Littlefoot has more in common with much older hominins than those originally known as Australopithecus prometheus. So older hominins, I'm not sure where Australopithecus prometheus would have fallen into this timeline, but this is, like I said, this is what I do when I research things. Okay, so we have an article about Australopithecus prometheus published in 2018. Again, we have the Littlefoot stuff. Okay, so this is about 3.67 million years old. Okay. Okay, so we might just want to go into like the Googles. Australopithecus prometheus. Oh, I really want to turn that off. I hate it. Okay, so really around this point. Okay, so if we go back into this, we're going all over the place. It's gonna be fine, okay? It's gonna be fine. Australopithecus prometheus would be around the same age as Dairimeda, I would say. Garhi and Africanus probably as well. Yeah, okay, so in this upper area of the Australopithecus line. All right? What's the stuff in those baskets behind me? Do I have baskets behind me? No, I have books and skulls and T-pillars and more books and spear points and books. Have you seen my books yet? I'm very proud of my books. No, I don't have a 3D printer, unfortunately. I wish I had. I would have been printing my own skulls. So, yeah. Australopithecus prometheus falls in the upper end of Australopithecines. Good to know. All right. So, back to this article. So, normally I would be writing a lot and not go through articles this fast, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll survive today. Okay, so when it comes to the skull shape of this Littlefoot skeleton, it has more in common with much older hominins than those originally known as Australopithecus prometheus, or those universally recognized as Australopithecus africanus. So like I just showed you here, that's in the upper end of the Australopithecines lines. So, good to remember. Yet Littlefoot clearly has features elsewhere that could not make it a late survival of some more ancient species. It must be something new. This fossil remains one of the most important discoveries in the hominin record, and its true identity is key to understanding our evolutionary past, Martin said in a statement. Wonderful, Martin. Let's dive in, shall we? We know there are 2 hominin species living in the area at this time. 2? 2? Only 2? 2? Okay, wait. What was the name of the where was it found? Makapansgat in South Africa. Okay, so hominins, Makapansgat, South Africa. I hate this AI overview. Not gonna look at it, okay? No. I hate it. Freaking hate it. Okay, so, where is Makapansgat? Exactly. Like, give me, okay, yes. Give me a map. Okay, that's not helpful. That's not helpful. Limpopo, South Africa, Makapansgat. Okay, so Makapansgat, South Africa. And I just want, give me map. Okay, so finally, this is helpful. So it's really in the upper end of South Africa. Why are all these pictures so freaking blurry? That's bad. Okay, so 2 fossils living there at the time. 2 species. I'm sorry, like he says that there's 2 species living in that area around that time. I honestly highly doubt that. I'm not here to like say that, you know, this expert is wrong, but honestly, what is it about? This is a stream about a possible new human ancestor that was discovered, and they have done more research into this fossil, and I am currently unsure if what the article says about only 2 species of hominins living in that area around that time is actually accurate, because I highly doubt it when I look at the area of where it should have lived. It's close to Sterkfontein. I don't think there was only 2. I don't think there was only 2 species. They may have only discovered fossils of 2 species at this point in time in that area that lived back then. But I think more of them definitely lived in that area. So, sorry. But we don't know where Littlefoot fits in the family tree. We don't know its history and if anything evolved from it. When it comes to human diversity, specifically in South Africa, the story gets more complex every time you put a trowel in the ground. After all, we still have no idea where Homo naledi fits, given its odd mix of ancient and more modern feature. Yeah. It's South Africa and like the entire African continent. First of all, it's way more massive than people think. People think that versus true to size world map. People look at the Mercator map and they think that Africa is this like super tiny continent. There's a vast difference. So we're all used to this Mercator map. US, like here you can see in light blue and in dark blue, the US is relatively true to its size, relatively. Canada, however, is way smaller than it appears on the Mercator map. Greenland, Trump's massive Greenland is actually quite tiny compared to what it looks on the Mercator map. So yeah, please. Africa is massive. Absolutely massive. And we had all these hominins and human ancestors, human species in the Homo genus that all lived on that continent over the millions of years. And it's insanity, it's massive, but every time you put a trowel in the ground, you will find stuff that makes the entire story that we have uncovered up until this point in time way more difficult. And yes, it gives you some information, but not enough, so it's like breadcrumbing you. Constantly. It's constantly breadcrumbing you, and you just need to know more before you make a publication. And so that's why sometimes something gets discovered in 2009, and we only get answers in 2025 or 2026. Crazy. And we all come from Africa. So I have made videos on the great apes from the Miocene in Europe, and these were possibly bipedal, and they may have migrated back into Africa due to climatic conditions. This is unsure. We don't know for sure if this happened or not, but we do know that bipedalism wasn't just occurring only in Africa. It's just that everything migrated at least back into Africa, and our entire evolutionary timeline from the very first species when it comes to, let me grab the, here it is. So all the things after the split where the gorillas left us, okay, think about that. So about 8 or 7 million years ago, everything from us up until 7 or 8 million years ago all originated in Africa. And that's why the out of Africa theory is still true. There have been multiple migrations out of Africa, and there even have been multiple migrations back into Africa. But every person on this planet has their origins on the continent of Africa. So yes, it is out of Africa. And for the people that come and attack me for saying this or think that I'm lying because I'm holding on to outdated views and all. If you are an out of Asia person, then you are holding on to outdated views, because out of Asia was the consensus before we discovered it's actually out of Africa. Okay. So, yeah. And yes, people of today are a single species, and is, yeah. Okay, so someone is being very, let me just, give me a sec. Give me a second. Okay, bye. So, sorry. Someone was being really obtuse in my comments or in the chats, and Oh yeah, out of Africa and out of Asia. So out of Asia is older than the out of Africa theory. So out of Asia vs out of Africa. I think it was around the Second World War or a little after that. What is the out of Asia theory? So this is the after Darwin showed that evolution was a thing and people finally started to actually believe in it. The oldest fossils of any human ancestor up until that point in time was discovered in Asia. So of course to them, out of Asia. And that's not weird, because that was everything they had up until that point in time. And then we started finding older fossils in Africa and more fossils in Africa that were older. And that's why we found out, it's actually not out of Asia, it's out of Africa. And this was very, 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 very controversial back then, and it's still controversial today, because there are still people that cannot handle the fact that the out of Africa theory is the true theory up until this point in time. All the evidence that we have shows that it's out of Africa. I'm not making it up, but I mean, some people can't handle that. A lot of people are not aware of the out of Asia idea that used to persist. It took a long time for out of Africa to actually be accepted. A long time. I had a conversation with my sister's boss back at the when she still worked at the University of Uppsala, and she was doing some work stuff, and I visited her, and so her boss and I were just chilling in his office, as you do. I mean, when you can sit and like have a normal conversation with a paleontologist, I highly recommend you do, because it's going to be like one of the most intriguing conversations you will ever have in your life. And we sat there for about 2 hours, and he told me all about out of Asia, out of Africa, and fossilized footprints and all that stuff. And yeah, I mean, we all fully understand where my fossilized footprints fetish comes from. It's a fossilized footprints fetish. I don't like feet. Feet are nasty. Seriously, they're nasty. Thank you, Phantom of Many Topics, for the super chat. Are Turkish people the first humans to have a monotheistic deity? I don't think so. Because we know that in Egypt we already had that with, how was his name? Akhenaten. Oh, wow. Who worshipped only the Aten. I think this is oldest monotheistic religion. Zoroastrianism. Mid-second millennium BCE. As a religion, Zoroastrianism, and probably Akhenaten with his fun stuff. Oh no, wait. Zoroastrianism. Okay, so probably around, I think that it's like Iran, but the first documented monotheistic faith in history is Atenism with Akhenaten. That's one or the other. Okay, so one could possibly date back to like 10,000 years ago, but that's really way before writing. Yeah, I'm not sure about any of that, but I have never really properly looked into it. Yeah, Zoroastrianism is Persia. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so thank you, Hendrik. At least I know my brain is still somewhat functioning. So yeah. Okay, so out of Africa, all that fun stuff. Where were we? Oh yeah, Australopithecus. So Afarensis, Africanus, they're high up in the line of Australopithecines. And lower down the line, you have Paranthropus and Ardipithecus and other species. So it could be that this new Prometheus, Littlefoot, Australopithecus evolved from a different one. It's difficult. Yeah. Yeah, Zoroastrianism is still practiced in Iran to this day. So yeah. Well, this is me spouting stuff live. We are going to the Netherlands this April. I want to see ancient ruins. Should I check out the Hunebedden or better recommendations? Oh yeah, no. D53 and D54 Hunebedden. They are found at Havelte in Drenthe. I completely understand if you have no idea how to read or like write that. So, Drenthe. They are the second largest, like this super long one is the second largest hunebed or like dolmen in the entire country. And it has a smaller one almost right next to it, honestly. It's super, super close. You can see it in this picture. Like you have the massive one here, and in the back you can actually see the second one. During the Second World War, these were completely buried because this was an airfield. Like planes during the war had to lift off and land here. So this is super intriguing when it comes to dolmens in the Netherlands. I highly recommend these two, and the largest is in Borger. I think that was also Drenthe. And that is the largest. It's more of like in the forest. I have been to D53 and D54. I've actually made a video on that on my channel. Let me see if I can quickly do a dolmen history with Kaylee. And yep, we have it here. Dutch dolmen, skeletal remains of whatever I called it further than that. Here. Skeletal remains of burial mounds, history and excavation, Drenthe, Netherlands. Highly recommend. This is my favorite dolmen to go to. And holy hell, I was thick back then. Ugh. Ooh. Ooh. I was ugly. Okay, so done that. So let's reverse, divert back into like what the fudge we were doing here. So, they have no idea where the fossils of this possibly unknown species fits in the family tree of our human evolutionary timeline, like this family tree that I've been showing you. Okay, so I'll focus again more on this area, Australopithecus, Australopithecina, because that's where it, has to fit. And to Charlie, if you are serious about like going there, let me know. I might be able to like stop by and say hi that day. I could at least try. I live on the other side of the Netherlands, which is fine, but maybe I drive there when you go there and it's like, hi, take a selfie or something like that, It'll be fun. Yeah, the Borger one, it's amazing. I haven't seen the Borger one. I have to, still. One day, but up until this point in time, I just never had the time to do it. So, okay, back to Littlefoot. And Charlie, if you really want to do that, you can find me on Instagram, History with Kaylee, and just message me there, and we can set that up. No worries. I'll probably be able to do it because, I'm a YouTuber and I make my own hours. So yeah, I'm very lucky with that. So we don't know its history of this fossil. Like we have no idea what species it is a descendant of, and if anything evolved from it. So even Littlefoot's age is heavily debated. One method gives an estimate of 2.6 million years, and the other more than 3 million. That's a difference of about 1 million years. And 1 million years is a damn long time. So, papers have been published arguing why each is more likely to be right. This is what scientists do. They debate. They debate constantly. The other side is like an hour's drive. It's about an hour and a half. 2 hours if, traffic is bad. But it's about an hour and a half drive from where I live because I have to go to one of the dikes and then from there on I go around the big lake. So, because I'm in North Holland. So, it's fine. I can make a drive. I don't mind. I enjoy driving. This is new. Yeah. So, I do these live streams on Thursday. I'm trying to do them every single Thursday. Last week I was ill. Like I was really sick. You didn't want to see me while I was sick. Trust me. It's better this way. But I talk about topics that I'm researching or I am playing a game like God of War. What else do I play? I play Yeah, so God of War, Far Cry Primal, Ancestors, The Humankind Odyssey. Probably will add other games into the mix. But also we will do a monthly archaeological discoveries live stream where we look at the archaeological discoveries that were made in the past month. Things like that. Yeah. Boy. I love Kratos. I love God of War. It's one of my absolute favorite games of all time. Absolutely love it. So yeah, this is a little bit like on Thursdays I can just hang out, chill, talk about stuff, either talk about history or just chill and play a game. It's Kratos, yes, it's awesome. But so the age of this little foot fossil, hey, Draven, nice. Same, actually. I'm not from the area of Hoorn and Enkhuizen, but I do live in this area. So yeah, I'm from Langendijk, above Alkmaar. So yeah. So they have this. So I can't draw it or do anything in this. So let's put my mouse there. My mouse is about 2 million years. At that point, we already have Homo erectus. So saying that the little foot fossil may only be about 2.6 million years old would only make it about 400,000 years older than the oldest Homo erectus fossils that we have found up until this point in time. And I highly doubt that. So I lean more towards that 3 and a little bit million years. 3.67 they said, which would be way more around this area where my mouse holds. Sorry. Yeah, Big Lake, IJsselmeer, hell yeah. So, yeah. I don't think that this little foot fossil would be around 2 million years old. I don't see it. I don't see it. I lean way more towards 3 million or even 3.5 million years old. Just based on what this skull looks like. If I look at this skull, it doesn't look about 2 million years old. 2 million years old is... This is about 2 million years old. Do you see the teeth? Do you see the structure of the face? And then you look at this. I don't see it. And if we look at youngest Australopithecus skull found. Tongue child. Okay. Tongue child skull. So we have this tongue child. It's about 2.8 million years old. Close to 3. And then we have this. This brow ridge. I don't see it. I'm sorry. I just don't... I think it's older. I personally think it's older. Okay, so do we have an oldest Australopithecus skull found? And that is 3.8 Anamensis MRDVP11. I hate that overview bullshit. It's fine. Skull fossil. I want a picture. Okay. Ooh. Oh yeah, okay, so very pointy at that brow, on the brow ridge. It's very, very pointy. And pointy, when I look at this, I see that more than here with that. Is that tongue child? But then again, it's a child, so that's difficult. Fudge. Okay, I need a better Okay, so give me a Lucy skull. Oh, we don't really have much of a brow ridge. That makes it more difficult. Yeah, we only have like this small piece. Yeah, a child, of course, has a way less pronounced brow. That's very annoying. That the tongue child was a child. It was an Africanus at least. Okay, so we can look at it like this then. Oh yeah, no. Here, you can clearly see here with the Africanus, that brow is a lot more different from this erectus brow, and also way more similar to this. It's thinner, more pointy outwards, while the erectus brow is thicker overall. Just as you can see, it's way thicker. The brow is more pronounced in a different way, less pointy like this and more round like this, if that makes any freaking sense. But yeah, come for me in the comments. Come and attack me if I'm wrong. But yeah, no, I think it's older because of that. Because Homo erectus, at the very least, is 2.2 million years old as a species. Possibly even older. I don't see this skull and this species having anything to do with human evolutionary timeline if it was only 2 million years old. 2 and a little bit, okay, 2.6, but still, that's less than 500,000 years older than the oldest Homo erectus. And I don't see that. I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. Sorry. So I think it would be older than this. You have a big brow like that, Charlie. Love that. But yeah. Thank you, Lost Kiwi. I'm very glad to hear that you're enjoying it. So, Martin, who, talked with IFL Science, says that we think it's demonstrably not the case that it's Australopithecus prometheus or Australopithecus africanus. This is more likely a previously unidentified human relative. And he even says human relative to make that distinction. Dr. Clark deserves credit for the discovery of Littlefoot and being one of the only people to maintain there were two species of hominin at Sterkfontein. Littlefoot demonstrates in all likelihood he is right about that. There are two species. Again, I still highly doubt that it was only two. I feel like there could possibly have been three. The team has not named this new species, both because they have described so little of the fossil and because they wish to be consultative. The next step is to assess the entirety of the fossil to determine what species Littlefoot represents, Martin said to IFL Science. He noted there is also a need to go through all the specimens now placed as Australopithecus africanus to see if any fit better with Littlefoot than their existing designation. The key difference between Littlefoot's skull and Australopithecus africanus include the way the sutures join, a sagittal crest more similar to males of much larger species like gorillas, and a pronounced bump known as the external occipital protuberance. What a word! Oh my god. Okay, I need like 2 seconds to that was a lot of text. And my brain is still very fatigued quickly from, being sick for like nearly 2 weeks. But it's fine. I'm back. I'm back, baby. Gilberto says, I think I'm a Neanderthal born in a mountain, raised in a cave. Roken and effin is all I crave. Okay. If you want to be a Neanderthal, go for it. Bumpy! keep in mind the general public doesn't know the difference between relative and ancestor. Yeah, so relative, like my cousin, she has different parents, but if we go back far enough, you arrive at my grandparents that we both share. So my grandparents are the last common ancestor or the last shared ancestor that my cousin and I have. Does this make sense to the class? Evolution 101. Okay, so evolution 101. You have me, you have my cousin. Her parents and my parents are not the same, but we both have one parent that come from the same parent. Okay, so like we share grandparents. So the grandparents would be the last shared ancestor or the last common ancestor between me and my cousin. This is what evolution is. And a relative, like my cousin, she has nothing else to do with my further evolution. If I were to have kids, I can't have them. But in that case, if I were to have kids and she were to have kids, she doesn't want them. But okay, in that, beautifully magical fairy tale world universe where we both decided to have kids and actually could be able to have them, all that fun stuff. They have nothing to do with each other besides the fact that my cousin and I are close as friends and that we are relatives as we share the same ancestor, but she's not in my evolutionary timeline. My cousin is not my human ancestor. That's the grandparent. Okay? Does that make any sense to the class? Let me know. Would be lovely. And if that didn't make sense, I'll try and explain it a little bit more if needed. But I think that's the easiest way to do it. So when we look at my ancestry, you have me, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, and so on and so forth. My cousin is not found in my ancestral lineage, but she is my relative. She's a relative of mine, as we are related through that last shared common ancestor, the grandparents. Okay? That was Evolution 101. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Now another sip, and then we will finish this article real quick. And now, this particular discovery will not be a full long-form video on my channel, because this is the live stream that I wanted to do, and I have other videos that I want to make. Plus, there's really not enough information to make a whole full long-form deep dive into this, because if I had read this article back to back, created a script, the video would be about 5, maybe max 6 minutes long. And I don't think that's long enough for a video on my channel. The videos I do, I prefer them to have at least like 10 minutes of information. Oh, that was nice. Okay, so Martin notes that as recently as the 1970s, it was still commonly believed that there could only be one hominin species in the world at one time. Let that sink in. About 50 years ago, it was still commonly believed that there only could be one hominin species in the world at one time. And now we know, at this point in time, in 2026, we know that Homo erectus, Denisovans, Neanderthals, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo sapiens, Homo floresiensis, Homo luzonensis, Homo naledi, and 1 or 2 possible ghost species, at the very least, lived at the same time. I'm missing one. I think I should have at least 9. Which one am I missing? I'm thinking. Oh, the drink was Apple Bandit. Apple cider. Is nice. It's delicious. So, I feel like I'm missing 1. Yeah, this is not helpful. I have this other one. I should have another one. Not in a drink way, but alright, here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I already said 8. Oh, Ancestor. Ancestor already went extinct before Sapiens, I feel. I feel like they disappeared before Homo sapiens emerged. So, not what I was thinking of. No. Oh well. At least, you know, a lot of them. 8 or 9 species at the very least living on this planet at the exact same time. Homo zuluensis. That was the 9th. That is the 9th. Okay, so, yeah. Yeah. But like 50 years ago, people thought that only one hominin species could live on this planet at the same time. Lots has changed since then. So now we know that there were different genus coexisting. Even that, yeah. So even that, different genus coexisting. Martin himself, especially back then. So like, think about like what, 3.5, 4 million years ago? We had Australopithecus garhi, sediba, Africanus, Dairimeda. We still had Paranthropus roaming around. Homo erectus emerged shortly after. So that's that little head. So this could be more of like I feel like he has big hands too, a little bit, but I think this was a juvenile. I don't think this was an adult necessarily. So yeah, how dare you call me a hominoid? Why, I've never. I'll let you know. Yeah, sure. Come attack me. That's fine. Martin himself was responsible for revealing that our own genus lived besides 2 other hominins. Yeah. So, like I just said, this is in a different article, but you had Australopithecus sediba, Paranthropus robustus, and Homo erectus. So, like I said, that's around this timeline. Sediba, Paranthropus, and Homo erectus. It's crazy. Curveball question, but do you think we are the final hominid, or will we develop into something else? We will continue our evolution. It just depends on, will we go extinct before, diverging into different species? Will we kill each other before doing so? Will there be another asteroid that kills nearly all life on this planet? We are evolving constantly. So blue eyes, white skin are very new adaptations compared to all this talk of like millions of years. That's only about 10,000 years old. Very, very new. We have people in Nepal, the mountain range of Nepal, and they are fully adapted to living in those high altitudes. They are able to carry way more way more oxygen in their bloodstream, and they're able to transport that everywhere in their body. If I were to go to Nepal, I would become very, very sick with altitude sickness. Like, very sick. Possibly on the brink of death. So, yeah. Yeah, Homo longi is Denisovan. I said Denisovan, but Denisovan and Homo longi are the same. These we do know of. We also have people in Indonesia, they live on villages entirely made on top of water. And some of them, I think they can dive for like minutes, like 10 minutes or so. Longest um, without oxygen, Indonesia. I think it was there. 29 minutes! No. Those see, okay, yes, the Bajau people. Up to 13 minutes. They can dive for 13 minutes. If I were to try to do that, I would suffocate. So this, in a way, already shows everyone that evolution is in full swing. Honestly. Full frickin' swing. But yeah, we as a species think that it's normal for us to be the only one. But really, our situation is different from what it has been during our evolutionary past. Noting that we know from the history of other life forms that being the only survivor of a genus is not a good sign for a species' survival, yeah, it's not looking too good for us. So yeah. Oh yeah, my clickety keyboard. I love it. It's perfection. Can't help it. So we have the Antikythera, we have Lucy, Littlefoot, all this fun stuff that we can close. Okay, so this Littlefoot fossil, probably in this area of Garhi africanus sediba. I don't think it was as young as Homo erectus. I personally don't really see it. Paranthropus was also still around. It's intriguing. But could it be a human ancestor or just a human relative? I think at this point in time, that's the biggest question. Because even if we assign it a name and place it somewhere in this timeline that you see in front of you, what does that mean for our own evolutionary history? Are they an ancestral species, like I said, from the grandparents all the way back up? Or are they more like a relative, like my cousin? Like we live side by side, we share a common ancestor if you go back far enough. But you know, being a relative doesn't mean that you have any effect or impact on the evolution. Like, I have no impact on the evolution of my cousin, even though our grandparents had impacts on the fact that she and I are the only two in our entire family with green eyes. I had a grandma on the other side that she doesn't share with me that also had green eyes. So on my mom's side, my grandma and I were the only two people with green eyes in the entire family. And on my dad's side, it's my cousin and me that only have green eyes in the entire family. So I got them from my grandma on my mom's side, even though the green eye gene was probably also carried by the grandparents that my cousin and I on my dad's side share. Does this also sort of maybe make any sense? Okay, maybe not. Was Africa land of Eden before Africa? I don't really believe in all the Bible jumbo, so I don't see any Edens. I just see areas where land was fertile and food was abundant, and so we lived in that area. That's what I see. Yeah, exactly. The relative versus ancestor comparison. Yeah, exactly. Okay, good. At least John gets it. Yes. Okay, good explanation for me. Standing ovation. Standing ovation. I did so good. Okay, so we have 10 other articles. But I wanted to look into this one, Scientia's article, because this IFL Science article mentioned Australopithecus prometheus a couple times. While the Scientias article also talks about Australopithecus diarrhea. And diarrhea is found way more near that 4 million year ago split timeline, lineage, whatever you want to call it. So the idea that Littlefoot could be older than that 2.6 million years that I already alluded to, that's my personal opinion. My personal opinion based on what I'm reading, from what I've researched in the past, but not... so that's my educated guess, my personal opinion, but I'm not an academic, so don't hold me on to this. The Prometheus, I just read that in this whole article. Did we not go over this well enough? I thought we did. So it's either they thought that Australopithecus africanus and possibly Australopithecus prometheus were different species, but then other anthropologists said no, they're the same. So Prometheus and Africanus could be the same species. But there are some that say Australopithecus prometheus is a different species. But that's Prometheus. Okay, so back to diarrhea. An ancient foot skeleton from Ethiopia. Why are we talking about Ethiopia? Why is this? Wait. December 15, 2015, or 2025, Littlefoot. And then Scientias, we are in November 27, 2025. And it's also about a foot. But maybe that's the reason of that. Okay, wow. There's so much. This is funny. During the time that this Littlefoot unidentified human relative news came out, the Littlefoot species, apparently around that same time, there was a discovery published from the Afar region in Ethiopia that had to do with an ancient foot skeleton. And they wonder why people get confused and news articles get confused and put all of this into one article thinking it's the same frickin' thing. Because this is a whole different thing. I like it, but we have to park this. I'm so sorry. We have to park that for a moment to make sure that, okay, Ethiopia, Afar, and this is back in Sterkfontein. So these are all articles from around the same time. Here, December 24, 2025. This was December 15, 2025. This is Littlefoot skeleton, skull, and this is, again, that Afar rift, completely different area. And this is Australopithecus diarrhea. It's weird. So the Bertellefoot, I'm going to have to park this one again next to that one. So here we have that Littlefoot stuff that we just covered. Littlefoot. Decline. Littlefoot here. Okay, so this is why sometimes doing all this research is really difficult, because we have a couple talking about like Littlefoot, and some of them are talking about a whole different species from completely different fossils found in a completely different country on the continent of Africa, which is massive and has nothing to do with each other. But when the Littlefoot news dropped and that fossilized foot news dropped, it was around the same time, and I've seen so many articles. I remember seeing articles about Littlefoot calling it diarrhea. And now I'm figuring out, like I said, I was really, really sick, so it didn't work much back then. But I'm not finding those wrong articles So I hope that they've been fixed at this point. So we have foot bones and a jawbone found in Ethiopia in 2009. Okay, so these are the foot bones that they have found from the Bertelle foot. A team led by paleoanthropologist Johannes Haile Selassie. Of course, a Haile Selassie, because this is Ethiopia. Have some respect for Haile Selassie. Okay, so I'm not sure if I want to cover CNN. So, Littlefoot, mystery, Littlefoot, yep, Littlefoot, remarkable, South Africa, good. And this is the more of like a publication, but really it's a bad one because Science Daily, it's not that great. Okay, we'll close the Littlefoot stuff for now. And we are going to look into this Australopithecus diademata, because I do want to talk about that real quick. I won't be streaming for like hours on end today, because like I said, I've only just now been a little bit better. So we shall see. Just want to cover this article, and after that I'll probably end the stream. But an ancient foot skeleton from Ethiopia turns out to be from an unknown human species, prompting scientists to redraw our evolutionary tree. I like this. In 2009, a 3.4 million year old partial foot skeleton was discovered in Bertelle in the Afar region of Ethiopia. The fossil, known as the Bertelle nature foot, could be clearly identified as belonging to a hominin, a genus within the hominin family. However, the discovery caused confusion because the foot was clearly distinct from Australopithecus afarensis, the species to which the famous Lucy skeleton belongs, which was the only known hominin species from that period in northeast Africa. The Bertelle foot characteristics, with its increased prehensile capacity, suggested more tree-climbing behavior and likely more unique features than Australopithecus afarensis. Although scientists knew the foot was different, it wasn't common practice to name a new species based on so-called postcranial elements, the parts below the neck, so the bones remained unclassified for now. This uncertainty about the foot's owner persisted for a long time. In 2015, the same research team led by Johannes Haile Selassie described a new hominin species named Australopithecus diademata, based on 3.5 to 3.3 million year old jawbones also found in Bertelle. Although some of these specimens were discovered close to the foot was not initially attributed to this species. So again, we saw the foot here. Just grabbing another article or whatever. The 2015 designation of Australopithecus diademata was met with skepticism by the scientific community. However, the recent discovery of new tooth fossils and the attribution of the foot bones should now lead to wider acceptance of Australopithecus diademata as a true species, states paleontologist Fred Spoor of the Natural History Museum in a commentary in the journal Nature. Further fieldwork and the discovery of more fossils, including isolated teeth and the jaw of an immature individual, allowed them to confidently link the fossils to the Bertelle foot and the species Australopithecus diademata. The new finds in the small spatial and temporal distribution of all hominin fossils in Bertelle lead the authors to conclude that the enigmatic foot likely also belongs to Australopithecus diademata, according to their findings in Nature. This is the second time I see findings in Nature, but no clicks to anything yet. Why did you... here. Okay, good. I was like, why did you not link the publication into it? The foot looks smaller than his finger. That's a baby foot. All of this. This is all foot bone. This is only a centimeter, so that's like this big. So it's amazing to think how many hominid species was around at the time, especially in Africa. I'm guessing there would have been a lot of hybridization between the different distinct species. I think so too. I think hybridization was way more, was occurring just way more than we currently think. So we have this new finds shed light on diet and locomotion in Australopithecus diadymata, and mystery owner of African hominin foot identified. Unfortunately, this somehow on Nature is behind a paywall, which is very, very annoying. But it's from the same day as this one. Probably from the same, this Fred Spoor. And he's not a part of this one. Okay, so awesome. No idea why that this one is behind a paywall. Very annoyed with that. This is one of the biggest pet peeves I have. I am not affiliated with any institution, so I'm not allowed to watch stuff unless I pay. Like, this is this price. It's bullshit. Everything, no. Nature is like the scientific journal that you want your scientific research to be published in. There are Nature articles that are free, and there are Nature articles that are behind a paywall because of the fact that it is either new information, or it's quite sensitive or controversial. Sometimes there is a free version that you can find if you go... No, that's the locomotion one again. Smithsonian. But sometimes they have like this this is science.org, described in Nature Today. No, that's the locomotion one again. So most of them will just link back to this locomotion article in Nature. And the reason for that is because this one is free. It's just that in this one, it just talks about this new species and already using its current name, but associated content, you can clearly see that that is the one behind the paywall here that I can't open. So that's a shame. I could probably figure it out through Sci-Hub or whatever. I don't necessarily feel like doing all that jazz right now, because, you know, we're just chilling here. It's fine. So, yeah. It's fine. But at least we know Nature articles, something has been published. Real work has been put into it. Good. So, they think that this interpretation is justified, but it must be emphasized that attributing limb or trunk bones to a species is a matter of probability, unless they are part of an individual skeleton that retains species diagnostic features, which are usually restricted to the skull. The new fossils, including the lower jaw, show that the teeth of Australopithecus diadymata displayed more original features than previously thought. The species does not share these features with Lucy, the Australopithecus afarensis, but rather with its ancestor, Australopithecus anamensis. And we have that... Okay, you can see that here, but it should be somewhere here, anamensis, right above Australopithecina, in that area. Nice. Okay. The attribution of the foot to Australopithecus diadymata is only part of the story. It reveals how the species lived and how two human species could coexist in the same area. This is wrong in this article. Sorry, Scientias. These are not human species. They are Australopithecines. human species are in the Homo genus. Australopithecines are in the Australopithecus genus. Big distinction between the two, because Australopithecus predates all human species. So this is pet peeve, pet peeve, when people write an article and they just don't have the knowledge to write an article. These are not human species. These are pre-human species. And the distinction of that pre is incredibly important, because someone who doesn't have the knowledge that maybe I have or that the experts have will read this and think that Australopithecines are human species. And they're not. Sorry. So, it reveals how this species lived and how two pre-human species could coexist in the same area. We've already known about pre-human species coexisting in areas. And we also know about human species coexisting in the same area. So this is weird. Sorry, this is just... let's pretend that we didn't read that. Because... yeah, exactly. This is so annoying when they don't understand the distinction between the two. It makes habilis more likely to be pre-human. Exactly. Yeah, I even covered that in my Homo habilis videos. I've made 2 at this point. A lot of people think that habilis should be placed in the genus of the Australopithecines, while others say, no, it's Homo genus. I can't give you any conclusion to that, but, I mean, I've seen it. I've covered that in the video, but yeah. The patella foot, now assigned to Australopithecus diadymata, retained a grasping big toe, a key feature for tree climbing. This was surprising because Australopithecus afarensis was already fully bipedal at that time, with a non-grasping toe. Australopithecus diadymata did walk on 2 legs when on the ground, but likely pushed off with its second toe, unlike modern humans, which use their big toe. The presence of feet suggestive of tree climbing behavior contrasts sharply with the more terrestrial nature of Australopithecus afarensis. Using isotope analysis on the tooth enamel of Australopithecus diadymata, it was determined that the species primarily consumed leaves, fruits, and nuts from trees and shrubs. This diet differed from the more mixed diet of Australopithecus afarensis, which also ate tropical grasses and other grasses. The species shares not only aspects of its teeth and feet, but also its dietary preferences with older hominins. Spoor notes. These clear differences in lifestyle and diet, which point to different ecological niches, could explain how the 2 hominin species, here you say it correct, hominin species, were able to coexist in roughly the same area. So here they made the mistake of writing human species, and here they are writing it correctly as hominin species. So going back to this timeline stuff, like I said, hominins are the ancestors of the chimpanzees, and our ancestors and us. We are hominins. Everything from the red and down are hominids. This hominid. All right, so. The most thought-provoking implication of the new fossils lies in the potential rearrangement of the human evolutionary tree. Conventional interpretations considered Australopithecus afarensis, to which Lucy has been attributed, the only hominin species during that period and the ancestor of all later hominins. Comparisons now suggest that Australopithecus diadymata not only shares ancestral features with Australopithecus anamensis and Ardipithecus ramidus. Oh, wait, I'm getting cider. More cider, people. Okay, so cheers. Thank you. Good. Sorry, Kevin just brought me my cider, and that's lovely. Didn't expect that. So, where were we? Okay, yeah. Comparisons now suggest that Australopithecus diadymata not only shares ancestral features with Australopithecus anamensis and Ardipithecus ramidus, but that aspects of its feet and jaws also resemble those of Australopithecus africanus. So it has features of 3 different species. The researchers argue that Australopithecus africanus and Australopithecus diadymata are more closely related to each other than Australopithecus africanus is to Australopithecus afarensis. So, yeah, they need to understand the distinction between hominids and humans. All humans are hominids, all humans are hominins, but not all hominins are humans, and not all hominids are hominins or humans. That went over way too many people's heads, apparently, because otherwise these articles wouldn't make these stupid mistakes. Seriously. But yeah, so we saw Ardipithecus ramidus, diadymata, africanus, and afarensis. So when we go back into this beautiful picture, we have Australopithecina, we have Ardipithecus here, and diadymata here, and africanus all the way up here. Afarensis would be around here as well. So, diadymata is closer related to africanus that we don't have. That we have here. Closer related to africanus than africanus would be related to afarensis, which would be around here. So, and then, the weird thing is that diadymata shares features with Ardipithecus ramidus, which is all the way down there. All the way down there. What the hell? So yeah, I think that's really, that gives me Homo naledi vibes, where it is quite a young species, but has all these features that are super archaic and very reminiscent of like Homo erectus and even Homo habilis. Species that lived 2 million years before Homo naledi itself emerged. Super weird. Super weird. Have we ever found another foot as small as that one? Oh, absolutely. We found many small feet, I think, at this point. So this is a gorilla foot outline. I don't even think that it's super, super small. But yeah, it's quite small. Because the species back then weren't really big. So. Okay, so. All of this comparison of diadymata and its ancestral features that it shares with Australopithecus anamensis and Ardipithecus ramidus, and also Australopithecus africanus, which is a younger species, this all leads to a completely new hypothesis. We may have a different common ancestor than was thought for years. If this is correct, Australopithecus afarensis will lose its iconic status as the ancestor of all later human species, likely including our own lineage, the genus Homo. So, Lucy afarensis might not actually be our human ancestor. And I think that's pretty cool. I think it's pretty damn cool. So yeah, here again, the fossils, you can see them a little bit better, but honestly, it's cool. But yeah, so Lucy might not be our ancestor. Might actually be diadymata. I think that's really cool. So here you can see the jaw bone that they found. This belongs to a juvenile Australopithecus diadymata. Would be around 4 years old. That's pretty young. So the jawbone was found in 29 pieces 27 of which were recovered by picking through sifted dirt. I think that's what we see in this picture. I mean, holy hell. You loved Lucy. I love Lucy. I mean, I love Lucy too. Yeah, Lucy was shorter than an average human, reaching about 3.3 feet, about 1 meter, in height. Ape-like face and brain about 1/3 the size of a human brain. So, her fossil showcased a mixture of human-like and ape-like traits and provided the first definitive proof that ancient human relatives walked upright 3.2 million years ago. Although, as most of you know, if you've watched me for a while, then you would know that during the Miocene in Europe, we already had great apes that could have possibly been bipedal as well. And Ororentugenensis was bipedal. You can see that one here, Ororen. And Sahelanthropus chadensis was also bipedal. So, if we're going to talk about bipedalism, Ororen, Sahelanthropus, and probably Uranopithecus, Oreopithecus, and Dryopithecus already bipedal. So, Lucy was the first time that we found evidence of it, but that doesn't mean that Afarensis, the species that Lucy belonged to, was the oldest species with bipedalism. That's another interesting distinction to mention. The anthropologists should rename our species Homo hybridensis because we are an amalgamation of at least 2 hominins, if not more. Oh, yeah, definitely. We are a hybrid species. But yeah, I think most of the species that lived alongside us, like in the last 50,000, 100,000 years, most of them, I think, were hybrids. So, yeah. What else do we have? So, yeah, these species were very, very tiny. So here you can actually see them sift through that dirt. And that's how they found these jaw fragments. It's awesome. So yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like Homo habilis was already a little bit bigger. Homo erectus was already a little bit bigger. Homo heidelbergensis was already a bit bigger. And then you've had the Neanderthals that were already a bit bigger. And then we came along. Yeah, can't say that we are the best, but, we are a species. So yeah, I think it's cool. Awesome sauce stuff. Yeah, after the Australopithecines, we go into Homo habilis or Australopithecus habilis, depending on in which genus you would like to put it. It's not my place to say. So then Homo erectus, Homo antecessor, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo neanderthalensis, Homo longi, or the Denisovans. And then you also have Homo juluensis, Homo luzonensis, Homo floresiensis, Homo naledi, and Homo sapiens. So yeah. What was the evolutionary advantage of getting taller other than spotting lions in grass easier? I think it has to do with our throwing weapons and our bows and arrows, spears, all that kind of stuff. When you're taller, you have a bigger range for all that stuff, if you're bigger. So, longer legs for running, longer arms for better reach, that too. Yeah, I think evolution just went to its extremes with us, humans. So, I think that's about it. This was nearly 2 hours. Didn't expect to go for this long. I had fun. So, yeah. I think next week, let me check the agenda. Next week, we probably will play a game. God of War, Humankind Odyssey, or maybe Far Cry Primal. I haven't decided yet. And on the 29th of January, I'm going to have another injection. Fun! Injecting biologicals isn't fun, but it's life. But yeah. On the 29th of January, we will have a new archaeological discoveries live stream where we will cover some of the discoveries that were made in January of 2026 that were published and shared with the public. So, yeah, next week we shall game, and the week after that we have more of a talky talk live stream, and I will try and do that as much as I can through this entire year. If I look at my calendar on my phone, I will miss at least one live stream in February. I'm just gonna say that. It's the 19th of February because I will be in Peru. And I don't think I want to live stream when I'm in Peru. Have to be honest with you. I will make shorts and I will film as much footage as I can while I'm in Peru. But I don't think I want to live stream because I don't know. I think I need my sleep and my rest when I'm not, climbing all these ancient sites high up in the mountains. I'm living below sea level here in the Netherlands, and Cusco is about 3,000 meters above sea level. Let me check for my American viewers. It's about 10,000 feet, nearly 11,000 feet up in the air. And like I said, I live below sea level. That's way, way, way above sea level. And I probably need my sleep and my rest whenever I can. So, February 19th, I will not be live streaming. But I will be live streaming on the 12th and on the 26th, before and after I leave for Peru and after I come back for Peru. But we still have about a month before I leave. So it's good. We have exactly a month before I leave because I'm flying out on February 15th, the day after Valentine's Day. So yeah, that's my Valentine's present. I'm not traveling with my boyfriend. I'm traveling with other two people that are extremely amazing. So yeah, I'm gonna have the trip of a lifetime, and I'm very excited for that. What else can I say? What else? Like I said, I'm working on a video about cannibalism of Neanderthal babies. The evidence of that was discovered in a cave in Belgium. So I'm trying to make a video of that. And the last common ancestor that's possibly discovered in Morocco. The last common ancestor of Neanderthals, Denisovans or Homo longi, and us Homo sapiens. So that's going to be incredible too. So yeah. I'm not sure if I will upload this Sunday because I have a birthday I have to go to on this Sunday, and yeah, not sure yet, but I will keep you posted. I'll try and work a little bit now that my brain is almost fully functional, and I will be back live streaming next week on Thursday. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me as we had this chill, look at human evolution and timelines and all that fun stuff. And yeah, I think that's it, and I will see you next week. Have a lovely Thursday or Friday if you are Australian, because I won't forget you guys. And love y'all. See you next time. Okay, bye.